Welcome to Consider the Confession, a brief discussion of matters about and within the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith. My name is Fred Pugh. I am chairman of the Board of Trustees of the International Reformed Baptist Seminary, and I'm here once again this morning with Dr. James Renihan, president of the seminary. Good morning, Dr. Renihan.
Greetings, Fred.
Dr. Renihan, we've been discussing matters within the First London Confession of Faith, which of course lays the groundwork for the Second London Baptist Confession of Faith. And today we are entering into a new section, a new topic that is rather political in its nature.
Yep.
In terms of dealing with the civil magistrate. And of course, the political situation in England at that time was much different than we experience today.
Mm-hmm.
But as we enter into this particular section of the First London Confession, let's talk about the changing political circumstances in England between 1644 and 1651. These seem to have a profound effect upon the particular Baptist churches of England at this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you would, why don't you take us kind of an overview of what was going on in England at that time?
Yeah, I think that's really important to get into our minds, because it's easy for us to read an old document like this with 21st century eyes and not recognize that there are all kinds of things going on in the culture around them that affect the decisions that they make and the way they express themselves.
Yeah, if nothing else, the very fact that we have a separation of church and state, which they did not have.
No, that's right. They were working towards it, of course. But so, yeah, I think that we probably need to spend a couple of sessions talking about the political background because it's so important.
That's great.
I want to go back into the 1630s. So that's, a decade or so before the First London Confession showed up. It was printed in England. And I want to talk about King Charles I and what was called his personal rule. He came to the throne in 1625. He was very unpopular with Parliament, and so he dissolved Parliament. And for about 11 years, he tried to rule without the assistance of Parliament. And it was a difficult time in the nation, especially because he didn't have the ability to create new sources of money. And so he had to use old and antique laws and change laws. The most famous one was called ship money. And ship money was a tax that was placed on seaside counties, so any county with a shore, to help provide ships for the Royal Navy. He extended it to all the counties inland, and they were just beside themselves with anger. Who likes taxes, right?
Absolutely.
And so he's doing that. So for 10 years or 11 years, you have the personal rule. Alongside of that was the fact that he appointed a man to be Archbishop of Canterbury, who was very much disliked by all of the Puritans. His name was William Laud, L-A-U-D. Laud was a ceremonialist. He wanted to restore many of the smells and bells of worship that had been lost or taken away through the Reformation. He was really moving back towards a Roman Catholic type of worship, which of course deeply offended most of the ministers of the Church of England.
Sure.
And he was hated. He was really hated. So those two things together lead up to Charles finally, in straits, called a parliament in 1640. It only lasted for about a month because they weren't willing to give in to him. So once again, the word is prorogued. He dismissed the parliament, but he couldn't do anything more. So in December of that year, he called what became known as the Long Parliament, which was dominated by Puritan thinkers, Puritan politicians, and that led to the Civil War, which broke out in 1643.
Wasn't exactly the smartest political move, was it?
Well, he was really put into a corner and couldn't do anything without the help of Parliament, but the Parliament was not about to support the king in his actions. So it ended up with a war. And in 1643, when the Westminster Assembly was called, the king was in Oxford. He had to basically move the throne from London to Oxford. So London was controlled by Parliament. The king and his court were in Oxford, and war begins to break out. And then the Confession of Faith appears. Now, in the wars, Parliament ultimately defeats the king and is able to try to get circumstances on their side. There's a second war that involves Scotland. It's called the Bishops' War. Again, the king loses, and the king is taken captive, and he's put on trial for tyranny. And ultimately, he's executed in January of 1649, which then leads to a long series of political difficulties. But we're going to have to stop here and pick it up with the next one.
This sounds great. I'm looking forward to that.